why aren't my sales efforts progressing? Click here the subscribe button, set up the alert. If the content is useful, let us know by clicking the like button. So here's one thing I hear a lot about, okay, my efforts are there, but the results are not there. So what's happening, right? And I hear this a lot. First thing I hear is, we are doing all the right things. Okay, let's see, what are these right things? So let's say we're talking about the sales process, for example. You have identified the prospect. Yes, you know who they are, you know who people could be buying from you, who are the people, and because you solve a problem they have. You have materials, you have a website, you have presentations that show all the features and the benefits. We're gonna get back to that later. You are doing all the right networking, meeting people, you know, like a lot of coffees, you know, lunches, and reaching out, going to presentations, and you're involved in an active outreach activity, going there, emailing, contacting people and all that. So how come it's not working? It's the question that I get. So I'm doing all these right things, all the sales pipeline management, the progress, but I have very few meetings. I don't understand how little impact my materials seem to cause. You know, like when I look at it, it's perfect. I show clearly why what we sell is great for them. And how come people don't seem to care? Are they lazy? What's happening? Also, I hear the complaint that, well, contacts in my network are becoming cold, are becoming dead ends. So what's happening here? I know everybody's busy with other things, but what I'm offering is so great. How come they don't get it, right? And also, which is not uncommon, a very slow response to outreach, like a dismal response, right? And bottom line, not closing deals as much as you wanted. So what's happening, right? Why aren't the sales effort progressing well, right? Among all these. Well, let's look what's underneath and what we can do about it. So first thing I want to mention, we have our program here. It's called Your Business in Canada, where we will be by your side in your path to build your success in Canada. And you do that as a group with other entrepreneurs like you that are building the success in Canada, okay? So let's come back here. So how do you know your focus is accurate though? Because you seem to be doing all the right efforts, all the right things, and still the results are not there. So something is happening, right? So here's one thing, especially if you already had success in a different context, let's say in another country or in another area of activity. So what happens is that past successes, they can be blinding a little bit, right? We may confuse the factors that led us to have success in the past and believe that they are still present not now when they may not be. So let me be specific. Let's dig a little further, a little deeper here. Okay, why did people buy from you before? And here's when we run into a concept that's called like implicit knowledge. These people and you, in that other environment that you were operating, both sides had implicit knowledge. They knew implicitly that they could trust in you because your name in the community, the technologies you represent, or the education that you have, or the places you study, or whoever referred you to them, or the name you have in the market. And you had implicit knowledge about their problem. You know, because you had clients in that same geography or in that same type of problem. And so this implicit knowledge, things that people know but nobody talks about they are kind of submerged, but they are there, right? And this, in many cases, is the base on which a successful sale was made. The other thing is like, how is trust generated in that environment? People trust for the same reasons as they trust here in Canada? Because many times not, right? They trust for different reasons because it's a different environment where the characteristics that command trust are different than the characteristics here, right? So it's very important to understand why people bought from you, right? Have this implicit knowledge that also was already there, nobody talked about, and you understood implicitly how trust was generated and presented yourself in that way. Here's a problem. In Canada, though, the current reality will only come from very good homework. You really have to understand the other side before just looking at your past success and applying what worked to the new reality. Maybe it doesn't work at all, because if you don't understand the other side, maybe you were trying again to solve the wrong problems, right? And the other thing is like trying to make sales too soon, they actually hurt your ability to close, because they may show or create the impression that you're not prepared, that you are too anxious, that you are too sloppy, that you're trying to move too quickly, that haven't displayed the right type of commitment yet, and all that. So there's a very large number of factors that may be the reasons why sales efforts are not progressing, right? It's about what they believe, not what about you're trying to convince them about. If you see yourself as a salesperson in a convincing mode, trying to convince them, it's not a good path to be. It's way better to be in a path where people are telling you what they need, right? And you say, oh yeah, that's terrible. And you say, oh yeah, that's a problem for you. Well, funny you say that, because we have exactly that. So don't try to be in a position where you're arm wrestling the other side to convince them to adapt their vision of the world to your vision. It's the other way around. The work goes first in understanding their side. So then you can make their buying easy by showing them an easy path of how their need is connected to what you're putting in front of them, right? So what helps in this scenario? What can be done? What can be done? Let's be very clear, very objective. First step, it's fundamental to engage in direct conversations with maybe people that are going to be your clients, but maybe not. It's just people in the same market that understand the dynamics and the importance of things that is given by this market. So how do you do that? You do that by information interviews, understanding the other side, not with sales calls, trying to convince them. You're listening, you're not talking and delivering the presentation. They should be delivering a presentation of sorts to you. They should be telling you what are the problems that they have that you want to solve, right? You need to be in a position where you're looking to understand, not to demonstrate why you're good, but understand, oh, I see why this is a problem to them. I see how vital it is that this problem is solved. I understand how much it costs to have that problem. I understand what are the obstacles they have into solving this problem, and what the other solutions in the market were not able to plug this gap and solve that problem for them. So it's like direct conversations, obtaining information, listening, and understanding, right? That's the first step. The second step is actually to confirm that what you understood is correct, because sometimes you think you got it. Oh yeah, I took it all on notes, that's fine. But maybe it's always helpful to provide a summary. Say, okay, great, thank you so much for your time. What I understood from the conversation, you can do that later. It doesn't have to be in the same meeting, but or maybe even an email. I understood that this is a major pain point, that this is something you're looking for, that this is a problem, right? Is that correct? Did I leave anything else? Did I misunderstand anything? Confirm with them the understanding you have of the situation. That tells people that you listen to them. They appreciate it. Say, wow, yeah, you really took good notes. You really understood what I said. Yeah, but this little point here is not exactly like your position. It's more like that. Like you end up with even better information when you try to confirm if your understanding is correct, right? People appreciate that you're engaged, that you're really interested. Third, you will now produce the right materials, not talking about a bunch of stuff that they don't care about, that you think it's important, but it's not a problem for them, focusing narrowly on what they told you is the problem and providing substantial rationale for that, right? You're going to provide now, yes, produce the right materials, short materials of the right size. If it's something that they need to circulate quickly by email with colleagues, has to be one page, right? If it's something that you're going to deliver over a 30-minute presentation, then it's okay if it's a material with 15, 20 pages, right? But you have to have different types of materials to be shared at different moments in different contexts with different people. And you need to show that you put together a minimum infrastructure, right? So yeah, don't worry about we have this 24/7 number, or we have this office, or just email here, we have this chat function, there's always going to be a person here, I'm always going to be there, here's my cell phone, or like whatever may be the case. They need to feel that there is a minimum infrastructure there that's not going to disappear like that. This is our address, this is the incubator where we're part of, and we are there every Thursday and whatever, right? So they need to feel that you are integrating into the community. After you have these first conversations, listened, understood, confirmed the understanding, incorporated the feedback, produce the right materials, and demonstrate that you have the minimum infrastructure, now you're ready to do the sales pitch. You see how often people go completely opposite. They start the sales pitch and they find resistance. And then they spend the time trying to arm wrestle the resistance. Waste of time and energy for everybody, right? Let's understand first why it's important to them. And then it's almost like you're making their life easier by providing the solution to their problem, right? As opposed to doing that hard sell, hard convincing. So 2 videos here that are useful for you in this journey. Take a look.